But it'll say, let us continue this transmission with your questions and dialogues, if you wish.
Greetings, dear brother.
And to you, good day.
And greetings to everybody on the other side of the veil.
Guys.
We're going to be building new sacred sites and pyramid temples.
Guys.
And is there a way to, or a method to find the exact location of the intersection of the ley line, sir?
Well, there are a variety of ways. Some of them can actually be found if your equipment is sensitive enough with electromagnetic sensors. But you can intuit them as well if you place yourself in the proper meditative state and focus on the idea of the energetic lines, the grid on your planet. You can intuit it, and also some people can use permission slips, such as dowsing rods and so forth, to also plot and chart the idea of the electromagnetic grid, or ley lines as you call them, on your planet. There are a variety of ways, and different people will be attracted to different methodologies based on what works with their belief system. You follow?
Yes, brother.
All right. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Anything else?
In the temples we're going to be building, we're going to have like some staging areas. Would some type of platform, such as a landing pad or a rod for the ships to anchor to, which would be more?
A platform.
Okay.
At least 100 feet in diameter would be of assistance, with a gateway or an entry point. Doesn't have to be connected to any other, but a symbolic door, in a sense, at each of the 4 cardinal points, north, east, south, west, would be most efficacious as a representation, as a symbol, as a permission slip to connect the collective consciousness of your planet, the energy of your world, with the concept of contact in that way. Painting each of the doorways red, white, black, yellow, in the directions as indicated by many of the indigenous societies in your North American continent, to associate those colors with the proper directions. All right?
Thank you, brother.
Will that do?
Yes.
Well, thank you very much.
I have a few more questions.
Oh, I thought you said that would do.
Oh, for that one.
Yes, all right.
The Pyramid of Giza, other than using the sarcophagus permission slip, was it ever used as a power plant?
It generates a kind of focus like a lens electromagnetically, but not so much as a power plant as you understand them today in your technology. More the idea of the amplification of the energy to create the proper resonant state for the purpose of using the sarcophagus to get into the gamma state and have it amplified so that it can help facilitate out-of-body travel. More that than anything.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Could you give a description of the Yael civilization, and is there any messages from them?
The Yael civilization is a hybrid civilization. They are relatively similar looking to your Earth humans, which is one of the reasons why they will be the first hybrid civilization to make open contact with you, because they are familiar looking enough to you as to not cause concern. This will start to happen in that window of time from 2025 to 2033, where many of these contacts will begin to amplify. They will not necessarily be the first extraterrestrial civilization to make open contact, but they will be the first hybrid civilization to do so. We will be the third. They have said that within the next year or so, they will give another demonstration of their craft, as they did in the incident that you mostly refer to as the Phoenix Lights, so that again they can gauge the readiness of your people in their reaction or response to the sighting of that craft, to determine exactly how ready many of you are for the concept of contact. That's their message.
Thank you.
Anything else?
How high is your ship above Sedona?
1,350 miles.
We made an effort at Bell Rock, was using the array. Was that
It is a
effective?
beginning, but the array has not been completed yet because we haven't delivered the final information regarding how it needs to be constructed. So it is only partially complete.
Thank you. One more question.
Yes.
Could you give a physical description of the civilization in the Barnard system?
Again, they are humanoid, a little bit different than you. They are approximately in what you would call their Renaissance age. So a lot of their structures aren't necessarily built in the same ways that yours are, but they utilize stone and wood. And they are relatively sophisticated in their utilization of electrical energy. They do not have borders in the way that you do, countries in the way that you do. And again, physiologically, they are somewhat similar to your humanoid form, but there are differences in their face and in their bodily structures, but not extremely significantly so. Does that help?
Yes, the first steps for contact with them, will it be similar to in this format, or will we just borrow your ships to land there?
That has not yet been completely worked out. When you are made, in a sense, a beginning member of the Interstellar Alliance, these arrangements will be discussed, and whatever is determined among your world and our worlds to be the best course of action for the inhabitants of the Barnard star system will be the route that is taken at that time. This will most likely be sometime around, or maybe slightly before or slightly after your year of 2050. All right?
Very exciting, brother.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I just have a couple questions. The
Speak
first
up,
one,
speak up.
My first question is, this is exciting to me. It's exciting, expanding my consciousness and seeing all the things that we are able to do and communicate.
Yes.
Now, is sharing this information with people that maybe don't have any understanding of it, is it considered imposing on their free will to try to...
You can always discuss what it is that excites you, but if they give you any indication that it is not something that they wish to hear, then any further pushing would be an imposition.
Okay.
So you can always bring the subject up of metaphysical concepts and so on and so forth and share what you believe works for you. Again, this is what we do. We share these ideas with absolutely no insistence that you have to buy into them or accept them or use them in your life whatsoever. We know that they work for us. We know they can work for you if you believe that they can and are willing to use them. But we don't insist that you have to. We have to allow you to choose whatever it is you believe is best for you at any given moment. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Therefore, we do not impose, but we share where it is apparently and obviously appropriate for us to do so. We don't just necessarily blurt things out when it seems like it is not something that someone may wish to hear, but you will always get some kind of an indication synchronistically or a sign or a marker that the timing may be appropriate to at least very carefully broach any subject that you believe might be somewhat new to another individual, to give them time to understand and absorb it if that is what they're going to choose to do. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Does that help?
Yes, it is.
Remember that anytime anyone feels like they have to force something on someone means that you don't actually believe in the power of that idea, and all you're attempting to do is convince yourself of its validity, not the other person. Make sense?
Yes, it does.
Does this help?
It does.
Anything else?
Just one more question. I've been hearing a lot of talk about the flat earth theory. Is there any truth to that?
Are you asking if your Earth is flat?
Yeah, because I've been hearing people say that.
You know it's not, yes?
I've never been out of California, so I've never been up high to confirm it for myself. So.
Well, all right. You can most likely go along with the understanding that objects floating in space will more often than not form spherical bodies when left to their own devices.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
You've seen this demonstrated when you see pictures coming back from your astronauts playing around with liquids in space?
Yes.
And you see them forming spheres?
Yes.
There you go.
Okay. There it is.
Does that help you?
It does. Thank you,
Now,
Bashar.
this does not mean that there cannot be dimensions of reality where the physics is different, so that what they live on, though it may not be called a planet specifically, can actually be a flat surface. But that's not the physics of your dimension. But it is a reality on other dimensional levels.
I see.
Does that help?
It does. Thank you so much.
You are very welcome. Is that it?
That's it.
All right, thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Thank you. Wow, so many questions.
So many answers.
Yeah, good ones too. I'll start with I've had a lot of what you could call mystical experiences, and I'm wondering if there's a common theme among them, some agreement or something along those lines.
Well, the challenges that you face and the synchronicities that you experience in life are usually representative of the themes that you chose to explore. So that can have a common thread, if you wish. Probably, most likely, the expansion of your consciousness, the expansion of your awareness, the ability to become more adept at transforming negative to positive, so on and so forth. Being more of yourself. Yes?
Definitely.
Well, that's a common theme. That's
Okay.
a connecting thread. Anything else?
One of these experiences in the fall of 2013 led to me unlocking a pretty strong ability to work with energy and my field and other people's field and so on.
What is your field, as you say?
The human energy field. I'm actually not really sure what terms would be best used to describe this sort of thing.
All right.
I can feel it, but I don't.
Yes.
I've been exploring it from
All
kind of
right.
the inside
Well,
out.
how do you choose to work with this idea?
I've been doing healing work with
all
other
right.
people.
And so,
My,
this excites you?
It does, yeah.
All right.
My question was, could you tell me more about this energy and how could I best develop those abilities further?
I believe you already know the answer to that because we've been speaking about it all day long.
Excitement?
Yes. When we talk about the idea of acting on your excitement being a complete kit that leaves nothing relevant in your life out, you may take us quite literally.
Okay.
It's not a metaphor. It's absolutely complete. It leaves nothing relevant out that is in alignment with your true frequency.
Okay.
So the idea is that you are, while connecting to higher level energies as well, stepping them down into a form that is utilizable and applicable in your reality, which is the electromagnetic field. So you're using the electromagnetic field to create resonant patterns that are reflective and indicative of the state of being that is representative of balance and health and awareness. And again, as a healer, should someone be attracted to you for the purpose of matching that vibration, you will have allowed them the opportunity to experience an environment in which they can choose to heal themselves. But it's basically being done, even if you're connecting to other energies elsewhere, it's basically being done through the auspices of the electromagnetic energy that is representative of your physical reality.
Got it. Thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yes. What is a good way to charge myself, energize myself?
How do you become discharged?
I'm not sure.
What makes you think you are discharged?
Feeling tired.
Feeling tired can be a natural state that says that you do need to simply relax for a while. You know that in a very real way, most of you recharge when you sleep, yes?
Yeah.
So if you're tired, go to sleep.
Okay.
And you will recharge. Yes?
Okay.
Nothing mysterious, or perhaps meditation will do it for you, but it's really what you're attracted to do. But tiredness can be part of your excitement, you know. It
Lucid
can be
dreaming?
part of the
Yeah.
natural biological rhythm that's exciting for you. You do what you do, and then you become tired and relax and recharge. And then you're charged, and then you do what you do, and you follow your natural biological timing and your rhythm. And then you're in your natural flow, yes?
Okay.
Simple as that. It doesn't have to be more complicated than that unless you would like it to be.
Fair enough. Sometimes complicated is fun, but
Yes, and that's why so many of you might
Right.
do it.
right. In a previous transmission, you
Yes.
mentioned that monoatomic cobalt could be used to amplify or intensify a person's field.
It can be, though
And-
we were talking in a very specific set of cases and circumstances
Okay.
in that dialogue, and it's not necessarily absolutely applicable in this conversation.
Okay. The thing that I was curious about is you issued a very clear warning
Yes.
not to ingest more than 20 or 30 milligrams.
Yes.
I was wondering, 20 or 30 milligrams in what time period? Like per day, per lifetime?
At once.
At once. Got it.
But again, this was delivered as information for a very specific circumstance and case, and isn't really applicable here.
Okay.
Does that help?
Absolutely.
Anything else?
Do our oversouls have unique names? And if so, what is the name of my oversoul?
They don't really have names as you understand it. They certainly are represented by signature frequencies,
Okay.
but it's a combination of many different kinds of frequencies, and it isn't exactly very translatable into your language.
Of course, that makes sense.
Nevertheless, again, each and every one of you experiences excitement and passion in a slightly different way. And because the oversoul is expressing itself through an individuated soul, which is expressing itself through the higher mind to the physical mind, you can perhaps understand that the way in which the particular feeling you have of interpreting the concept of excitement and passion in your body can be somewhat, on your level, representative of the signature frequency of the oversoul.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes. Thank you.
Will that do?
Let's see. One more question.
Yes.
The transition point to fourth density, is that
Well, you're
something-
already going through it, but yes.
That was basically my question. I was wondering if this is something that's already happened or in the future
No, it's happening.
happening.
That's why we're having these conversations. If you weren't transitioning to fourth density reality, it's likely we would not be conversing at all. Remember that fourth density reality is still within the high levels of physical reality in the fourth dimension. Dimension is like the country. Density is like the states within the country. You can have third density and fourth density within the fourth dimension, 3 of space, 1 of time. But when you cross the threshold from fourth density to fifth density, you're also going non-physical. So you're actually going into another dimension, fifth dimensionality, when you go into fifth density, even though third and fourth density are still within the same basic dimension. Does that help?
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And
I thought that was the last question.
it is. I just want to say thank you for all of your teaching. It's been a profound honor to learn from you, and especially thank you about all of the information about the span. That was quite a ride.
All right, yes, and there is more ride to come. So, buckle up.
Good afternoon.
And to you, good day.
Well, I'm in the process I am processing all the information that I'm getting
Yes.
from you right now because this is my really first experience with gamma.
Yes.
I've been in the theta state. I have some experiences around theta state.
All right.
Can you explain to me the difference between the gamma and the theta?
It's just different frequencies in the brain that create different experiences and different abilities and different ways of tapping into different portions of your consciousness.
Okay.
It's like, again, tuning a radio. On what you would call the idea of AM, you can only receive certain frequencies and certain programs, and on FM, you can receive different frequencies and different programs. So the idea of beta and delta and gamma is that they are representative of frequencies that allow you different experiences of tapping into different levels of your consciousness and different levels of dimensionality to receive whatever information is important and relevant for you to receive at that particular moment.
Okay.
It's just that gamma is a very high frequency that allows you to access far more than you're used to in your typical waking states and beta states and delta states and so on and so forth. At least while you're dynamically awake. You access a lot of things when you are asleep in delta, but it's a different form of access that allows you to actually go out and have different kinds of experiences in what you would call more of an out-of-body or astral style experience, whereas the gamma frequency allows you to function dynamically in greater harmony with your higher mind and be represented as a more holistic person in physical reality and access higher perspectives, bigger picture points of view, more information more coherently, processing more quickly, and synthesizing information more quickly from whatever is the input to whatever the output needs to be to address whatever circumstance and situation that you may be experiencing. Does that make sense in your language?
Yes, it does.
All right.
So as an educator of young children,
Yes.
I'm noticing that you use the pathway of breathing to get to that gamma state.
Well,
Is that
we
correct?
can use it that way. It's one way, yes. But as we said, doing anything you love to do, when you're doing something that you're completely absorbed by, that you love to do, and you don't notice the passage of time, you're in the gamma state. When you're operating at peak performance in any way, shape, or form, you're in the gamma state. When you're, as you say, in the zone, you're in the gamma state. So there are many ways to create the gamma state. We're just taking you through a particular permission slip methodology that can work for many people on your planet to get you into the practice of being in that state, even when you're not necessarily focused on expressing it physically in some way, shape, or form.
Okay, so as an educator in the classroom,
Yes.
I'm asking you this because the classroom is a very dysfunctional place to be.
Well, yes, because of how it's engineered, how it's arranged.
Right.
That's why we talked about the three main principles that need to be used in your classes to allow the children to actually access the gamma state.
Right. So what I guess I'm trying to ask you
Yes.
is that using the breathing technique before learning starts in the classroom.
Yes. Meditative states can be of assistance to prepare the class to receive information more efficiently, as long as the information is in alignment with that meditative gamma state. In other words, what we said. It's got to be more interactive. You have to provide a safe environment for them to make choices and learn the consequences of those choices so they can learn responsibility for creating their reality. And you have to adapt the lessons to their particular modality of learning as an individual that is unique. And when you get them into the gamma state through either meditation or through some other creative, expressive endeavor that puts them doing what they love to do, then you can start dispensing information in the way that we are suggesting. And because it's aligned with the gamma state, that information will be absorbed in the way that it needs to be, most effectively. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yes.
I'm here to. I just need to think about this and see if I need to.
Oh, go right
ask-
ahead. Now, do trust your imagination to alter these things in whatever way seems best to you, because as the teacher, you also have to use your own gamma state energy. You have to use your imagination and have communion with your higher mind to be able to be inspired to come up with the things that will actually be most effective for the class. That's what it's all about, communing with your higher mind through imagination and excitement, so that when you are on that vibrational level yourself, you'll be able to come up with the inspirational ideas. Otherwise, you can't. You cannot experience what you're not on the vibrational level of first. So you have to be on that vibrational level of excitement and imagination in order to actually even conceive of the ideas, to be inspired by the ideas that would actually work best for your class. But if you're on that level, you will find the inspiration. The ideas will pop into your head. You will be shown what to do. You will have creative ideas. Yes?
Yes, and the gentleman, I think it was the gentleman who was at the mic before me, was talking about being tired.
Yes.
And even though the ideas come and the inspiration is there and the fun is in the classroom and the children learn,
Yes.
it is, I think, the bureaucracy of the system is it is so tiring.
Then find a different bureaucracy or create one. You see, this is what we mean when we talk about the idea of really using your imagination and acting on your excitement. Now, there are, as we indicated, different systems that are being created on your planet, and maybe you can find one of the ways in which that is being done that might be more in alignment to your liking and what you would prefer to do. As we said, there are now certain systems called developmentally appropriate programs, DAP. You can look into that and see if any of that is to your liking or more in harmony with you. But if you don't find what it is you're looking for, create it. That's the whole idea of being bold enough and imaginative enough and passionate enough to break the mold, break out of the box, create a new system. You don't have to stay within the system that you're in. Create a new system if you can't find what works for you. Create what works for you. And it will work for others who will be attracted to the new system. Yes?
Yes.
You just have to be imaginative and bold enough to do so. But the rewards will be great and many.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Class dismissed.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I'm very excited to be here.
We are excited to speak with you as well. What would you like to discuss?
For the last 4 years, I've been heartbroken over this guy and
Heartbroken over this guy.
over a guy, yes.
Yes.
And
Heartbroken about what?
well, he doesn't want to be with me, but sometimes
Then why
he
would
does.
you want to be with him? Why would you want to attract somebody in your life that doesn't wish to be with you? What
well,
are you
every
doing
time
to yourself?
I stop thinking about him, then he comes into my life again.
To test you, to see if you're willing to give up your power to something that isn't what you prefer? And yet you keep swallowing the bait?
Yep.
Why are you doing that to yourself? How about being heartbroken over what you're doing to yourself?
I think I am.
I know you are.
But I just
what?
get really emotional about it.
Of course you do, because you are feeling the result of what you believe to be true about yourself. But you can't wallow in the feeling. You have to get in touch with what you believe to be true about yourself to understand what it is you're doing, what it is you keep choosing to do.
Okay, well, I mean, I think probably I believe that I'm not lovable or something like that. But even if I know that, I'm not sure how to change that idea.
Well, let's examine it more specifically. You may be aware of the fact that you believe you're not lovable, but you haven't gotten down to the root of why that seems logical for you to believe. Why does that seem believable? That's another belief system. Why does it seem believable that you're not lovable?
Because
Yes.
the people that I love don't love me.
The people that you love don't love you. But again, all you're doing is repeating the pattern in that statement of attracting reflections of what you already feel to be true about yourself, which means you don't love yourself. So what else could you possibly attract if that's how you feel about yourself, other than people who will reflect to you your inability to love yourself, which is what they're doing.
And
You can't be surprised by that if you don't love yourself. That's what you would get.
I'm not surprised by it. I'm just not sure how to change it.
I am telling you how, but you're not really paying attention to the idea.
Okay.
understand that if you know you don't love yourself, I'm asking you another question. Why would you buy into that as being true, that you don't love yourself, or that you can't love yourself, or you're not worthy of loving yourself? Why would that seem logical to believe in?
Because of a feeling, I guess.
Nope. Because
Sometimes
of a
I love
belief.
myself. Sometimes I do.
Like when? Give me an example.
When I rock climb and I feel
When
like
you
I
rock
get
climb.
into the gamma state.
All right, and in that state you can feel that you love yourself.
Yes.
So let me ask you a very important question.
Okay.
What's the difference that you're making in your definitions between loving yourself when you rock climb and other circumstances in your life? What difference are you making there in the idea of who you are in different situations?
I feel powerful, and I feel like I can trust myself, and
why can't you bring that to other circumstances in your life? What beliefs do you have that say, I cannot feel this and know this same thing to be true in this situation, even though I feel it in this situation? What difference are you defining there to be between the two situations?
I feel, okay, so...
Stop saying you feel. I know you feel.
Okay.
But what are you defining?
I have a definition that to
Yes.
be lovable,
Yes.
you have to prove yourself materially.
What does that mean?
Make a lot of money, just
Why do you believe that to be true?
because
Do you believe that to be true?
no,
Not really.
but the people that I love believe it to be true.
So what? You're not them. They're not you. They're not living your life. Why do you have to believe as they do?
It just seems true.
Why do you have to believe as they do in order to respect yourself? In order to love yourself, why do you have to believe as they do? Do you understand that if they are imposing that kind of a belief system on you, that they may think they love you, but it's not love that they're expressing, it's control? Do you understand that by accepting what they are imposing on you as a belief system, that is not love? Therefore, you think that by going along with their beliefs, you are being loved. But you're not. You're just being controlled. That's not love. So you're under the misguided misassumption that buying into their beliefs means that they're loving you. No, they're not.
Well,
Well,
it's
what?
just this one person because
I don't care how many people it is.
Well, it's just this one person that I want to love me
Why? Why do you care?
because I like how I feel when I'm with him.
So what you're saying is, even though there might actually be someone out there who would actually love you even more perfectly, and really love you, you're going to hold on to someone who doesn't really love you in the way that you prefer to be loved just because it's about, 82% of it? That's enough? You're going to settle for that and block the passage block the arrival of someone out there who might actually be able to love you 100% for who you are? Is that what you're actually willing to do to yourself? Just because you think you can't attract someone else any better than this? Is that what you're saying? Nod your head.
I don't think I can attract someone better unless I'm better, and I feel like I
Exactly.
have to make more...
Exactly. And when you allow yourself to recognize that someone who exhibits 82% of the traits that you prefer isn't the person that you prefer, you will then allow him to get out of the way and allow the other person to come in. You're the one blocking love from your life that could be there because you're not willing to be strong enough to know that you deserve better than just some of it. Do you understand?
Yes.
Some of it is not what you prefer, yet you're holding on to it because you don't believe anything else can come in. And the reason it doesn't come in is because you're blocking the way with someone who is only partially what you prefer. You're the one jamming the lanes. Let him flow off. Let him flow by, because whoever does show up, you won't care who it is, because they will feel correct. Let me ask you a question this way. Have you ever had any other relationships before this one?
Yes.
Well, how did this one come about if you didn't let the other ones go?
Okay, right.
Thank you. Obvious, isn't it? So what's so different about this? All you've done is attract to yourself something to test yourself to see if you're willing to put up with something that is a half measure, as opposed to standing firm in what you know to be true for you, that you prefer, and letting your life flow that to you. You're actually willing to shortchange yourself. Why? If it happened before that you let someone else go their way because something more came in, what's so difficult about doing it again if you understand that something else can come in if you don't block it from doing so? Just like it did before.
I feel like I'm getting too old.
Oh, how old are you?
I'm 30.
I beg your pardon? 30?
Yes, but on this planet, that's
Oh, no,
normal.
no, 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 no. No, 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 no. Excuses, excuses, excuses that are not real. You have a saying on your planet that is very wise. Yes? Fear, F-E-A-R, false evidence appearing real. Yes? False evidence appearing real. The fact that you're 30, the fact that you're on Earth, the fact that a lot of people say, well, that biological clock is ticking. You'd best marry soon or you're going to be a dried up prune. Is absolute nonsense. Now, yes, we understand there's a collective consensus reality. There are certain things that you've agreed to with the collective consensus that you all abide by that are general, very general truths for a lot of you. That doesn't mean that every single aspect of that has to apply to you individually. And if you simply allow yourself to really fully be yourself, then whatever it is actually needs to be in your life, that is relevant to be in your life, will be in your life. Because it cannot be not in your life. When we talk about, again, excitement being a complete kit, that's what we mean. Everything that's relevant will happen. There is only one exception to this. You've made all your agreements. You've made all your appointments. If you don't worry about them, you'll keep them. The things that need to happen will happen in perfect timing by the agreements you've already made in this life and before this life, about this life. The only way to miss your agreements is to spend your time and energy worrying you will miss the agreements. That's how you miss the timing. By spending time and energy worrying you'll miss your timing. That's the only way to miss your timing. If you don't worry about missing your timing, you cannot miss your timing.
Okay, I understand that.
Maybe you do, and maybe you don't.
I've
we'll
heard
see.
you say that before.
Yes.
Question.
Yes.
Aren't there multiple or infinite realities? So
Yes.
the agreements and the appointments and whatever, aren't they different across all the different
Some are very
realities?
slightly different, and some are massively different, but you still get to choose which one you prefer. That's how you fit into the niche and the path that is you, by being your full self and knowing that whatever has to unfold that is relevant for you as a unique consciousness and a unique perspective will be exactly what you need to get a reflection of the fulfillment that you create in your state of being.
So the other versions of me, then
Yes.
they're not really me, right?
No, they're not. They're other people
They're other
entirely.
people. Okay, I wondered about that.
No, does that answer that question?
Can I? I'm going to ask a question
Yes.
that's kind of related. I've been working. I feel very bad because I
Yes.
work for my father, and I
Yes.
feel like, I didn't
Yes.
get like a independent job, and he's
So
been
what?
supporting me to create a website. It's a social media site. I've been working.
Yes. Does
Hard.
that excite you?
It does really excite me, but there's something about it that is just been driving me crazy. So
Oh, such as? How exciting. What
Well,
drives you
fear,
crazy?
Fear.
Fear about what?
I just feel guilty about succeeding.
Fear about what? You feel guilty about what?
About the possibility of succeeding.
What is success? Being yourself. If at first you don't succeed, redefine success. To be that definition that works for you. No one else will have the same definition of success.
Or I guess I'm scared of failing. It's one or the
What
other.
is failure? Not being yourself. That's it.
Do you really have to be yourself 100% of the time before you're successful at being yourself?
No. No, you do not. But here's the paradoxical irony. When you're okay with not being your true self 100% of the time, you are being your true self 100% of the time. Because you know you're going through a process, and it's okay to go through the process, and it's okay to know you're not always at your best, and that's okay. It's when you start heaping judgment and guilt upon yourself that you're going in the other direction. It's not because you're not always doing exactly the thing you would like to do. It's because of your attitude toward that experience that determines whether you're successful or not. So if you're all right with sometimes going, oh, well, I took a left turn here. It's not what I intended, but all right, I learned something from it. I'm not always 100% at my best, but that's okay because I know that it is my intention to be. And therefore, by acknowledging that it's okay to have gone down that path, even if it wasn't what I preferred, I know that overall I'm okay and have a self-correcting, self-guiding system that will always course correct and bring me back to where I prefer to be. That is success. Not because you achieve a goal. Not because something comes to fruition in the way you thought it would. Success is being okay with yourself at every moment, even when you're not okay with yourself. That's okay. If you heap judgment and guilt upon yourself, that's what stops you from being a success. Because many, many people in your reality who you would look at and go, oh, that's a very, very successful person, that's their secret, is they don't give up. They don't get down on themselves for suddenly maybe being out of alignment with who they prefer to be. They learn from it. They get back into alignment. They say, okay, lesson learned. Let's move on. That's success, because the process of your entire life, the process is the point. The journey is the destination. You're not trying to get anywhere. All you're doing is attempting to be more of yourself to the best of your ability. And if you're doing your best, that's all you need to do, and that's a success. Does this help?
Yes, it does.
Do you feel a little bit more relaxed about yourself?
I do.
Then that is the measure of success. All right?
Thank you, Bashar.
You are welcome.
Hello, Bashar. The other day I was reading some channeled material from the Arcturian Council where they were describing that we are here to experience the ultimate experience of knowing ourselves from finite beings to infinite beings. And, that's cool, but it just seems like I feel like I have this perspective that we're just kind of like bored as high dimensional entities, and we kind of just want to, play a game to, experience ourselves as separate. And, to me, that just seems like we're just like guinea pigs. I don't know. So I'm kind of just, at a loss with trying to figure out why we're even doing this. Please and thank you.
You are your own guinea pig. You're not anyone else's guinea pig, and you're not bored as higher entities. You simply see the excitement and the value and advantage of doing things in different ways according to what's possible in existence. So don't necessarily have to bring boredom into it. You don't have to bring the idea of victimhood into it by referring to yourself as a guinea pig. If you are a guinea pig, you're your own guinea pig. So sometimes you might decide it's going to be very exciting to go into a particular reality so you can pig out in a different way.
Hi there. Thank
Hello.
you, Bashar, for taking my call.
It is our pleasure and our passion to do so. What would you like to discuss?
I'm curious about, since consciousness takes place at the subconscious, and unconscious level, is this unique to the human experience, or do others as well, other species, have those three forms of consciousness?
There are a few that do, but of course they can still experience them in a very different way. So it's not absolutely unique to humanity. What is relatively unique, although again not absolutely so, with Earth humans, is the degree to which they allow the fear-based beliefs to color the functionality of the subconscious mind.
I see. That being said, I do notice that when we go into the dream state, it seems like we open up to a higher aspect of consciousness.
Yes.
I'm presuming, since you've mentioned that your species woke up in the dream.
Yes.
So my question is, as we try to expand our consciousness, how can we maintain what some experiences, out-of-body experiences while we sleep, so that we could become more cognizant and retain a memory of our sleep?
Where it is relevant to do so, you can do so. It might not always be relevant to do so, because you might be doing many things out of body that aren't necessarily relevant to what you're doing when you're physical. So don't necessarily insist that you have to remember everything. But if you open up to the idea of allowing yourself to be more lucid and let the physical and the non-physical become more common in the sense of being more alike than not alike, relax the definitions that there is such a great difference between physical and non-physical, because physical reality is just a different type of dream. So the more lucid you become in physical reality, the more lucid and aware you will become of non-physical reality, because you're not imposing such a separation or barrier between the two, because they are just different aspects of one thing. Because remember, you never really leave spirit. You're just dreaming that you've left spirit. So the more you allow yourself to relax the definitions of difference between physical and non-physical reality, the more you will remember whatever is relevant for you to remember when you are, quote unquote, out of body. Does that help?
Yes, it does. And to that end, I find it kind of synchronistic that we're dealing with a species that doesn't use memory in the same way that we do.
Yes.
And yet we're going through an experience of coming into incarnation with no memory.
Well, some of you, not all of you. Many of you do have memory.
Is it also part of the expansion to be able to recall, to bring forth the memories?
In general, yes. But again, it depends on what's relevant for the theme that you chose to explore. It's not necessarily relevant for everyone to do it that way, but it is becoming more generally possible and probable with the children being born on your planet over the last few decades, yes.
So along those lines, I could develop it if I chose that theme, because I feel like I'm exploring consciousness as a theme, and to that end, I seem to have woken up to some of the clairaudience experiences, yes. And it's like when I leave the dream state, I wake up hearing conversations ensue or take place that apparently I'm doing while I'm dreaming.
Yes, all right. So again, that may be part of the process of creating more similarity between physical and non-physical reality for you. by crossing that divide, by allowing conversations and awareness to cross that divide and start leaking into your physical reality from the non-physical one.
I was also curious if I had an experience in 2008 where I actually have a recollection of being on board a ship, but I don't know who those beings are. Would it be possible? Would you be able to determine that?
Well, most likely you're dealing again with grays and hybrids, because that's the typical people you will be dealing with regard to those memories of being aboard ships. It doesn't mean that there aren't other beings there from time to time as well, like the mantis and so on and so forth. But in general, it will mostly be the grays and the hybrids. Sometimes you'll get the things like tall whites and other kinds of beings that have references and familiarity to some people on your planet. But again, generally, hybrids and grays.
And so when those exchanges occur, are we in some form of astral where, we meet halfway from where they're at?
Usually. Not always, but usually. Sometimes there is actually an altered physical reality in which you still are kind of physical, but not exactly in the same physical reality that you consider to be your physical reality when you're, quote unquote, awake.
I see.
It can just be a shift into a parallel reality that is very similar to yours, but also contains qualities of the astral realm.
I see. All right. And so I also do recollect having an experience being out of body when I was in the hospital in a certain case. At that time, I had a being actually, I think, assist me in coming out of body because I was dealing with a lot of pain.
Yes, that's not uncommon. It's not uncommon to have your guides or other beings help in those situations. Yes.
I found it fascinating because when I got out of the body, the being was actually looking at me above the hospital bed. And so I could see myself and I could see the being, but he wasn't looking at me in the bed. He was looking at me directly where I was out of body.
Yes, because you were more in that being's reality at that point. The body in that sense was in another reality that is not necessarily as relevant to that being.
And so once again, I guess, unless it's part of my theme, those memories of what took place when that took place seem to elude me.
It's all right. Again, you remember enough at the moment. Take the energy, take the experiences, and move forward in your exploration. Don't necessarily think that you always need to look back.
Great. Wonderful.
All right.
Sounds great. I appreciate the time, and I wish you unconditional love and gratitude for your service.
Unconditional love to you as well for yours.
Thank you.
Good day.
Good day.
And pleasant dreams.
Hello, Bashar. So when I was about 5 years old, I had a brief experience with a gray in the middle of the night. As I was walking into my bedroom, through the bedroom window, I could see the gray sitting in a school desk that was right outside the window and had his arms on the top and was turning his head to look at me. And I have thought over the years that perhaps the school desk had some type of significance or connection to the fact that I was meant to teach, or that was my passion. And I have taught and have done a lot with education and coaching and things like that. I've sort of dabbled in some of that more recently. And I've learned over the years what's my passion, what's not my passion. It is ever evolving, as I think it should. But I'm just curious if there was significance to the way that the gray approached me sitting in the school desk, or if it was just a way to approach a small child and not be so maybe scary as to just show up standing up in the same room. I love you, Bashar. Thank you so much.
Well, both. Not only about the idea of teaching, but also about the idea of learning and letting you know that when you are asleep and out of body, you are attending different classes on different levels of dimensionality in ethereal or astral planes, learning different things that you need to learn in order to teach different things on the earth to aid and assist in the evolution of humanity. But yes, to make it simple for a child to understand and to not be scared as well.
Hello, Bashar.
Good day.
My name is Sarah. I'm currently in California, and I have a question about transforming the Orion energy of oppression as it relates to my uterus or womb.
All right.
When I began connecting to the hybrid children, a game happened where I would imagine them as tiny babies and I would pop them in my womb and I would flow love to them. And it was a fun permission slip.
Yes.
I thought it might be fun for them in case they hadn't had that experience. And it's fun for me because I've been careful not to have human children because Earth is a little nuts.
Yes, we understand.
So where it got interesting was in Matters of the Heart, you said we could flow unconditional love to those in darkness. And I began to imagine even violent adults as tiny babies, and I would pop them into my womb so they could experience the unconditional love that I feel for the hybrid children. And this feels like a powerful permission slip for me. I've been able to unconditionally love anyone and everyone. So I want to understand it better. My question is,
what's to understand?
How can we use the idea of womb energy to experience personal expansion instead of oppression right now?
Well, aren't you doing it?
I am, yes, but I'm wondering how the past oppression relates to the progress we're making of transforming that oppression into freedom.
Well, again, by offering that kind of a permission slip and allowing yourself to become active in doing so, along with physical acts out in the world of service, you are at least providing the energy to the world that gives everyone the opportunity to choose something that will allow them to transform the idea of past oppression. So you are flooding, with that permission slip technique, flooding into the world a vibration that turns the entire world into that kind of a womb experience where people can go back into their child selves and re-educate themselves and realign themselves from that energy going forward to grow into adults that have nothing to do with the idea of the oppressive energy of the past. Does that answer your question?
It does. Thank you, Bashar. I am very grateful for you.
Our gratitude to you as well. Is that it?
Yes.
All right, then. Good day.
Good day.
Hello, Tadeo.
Nania.
We have lots of questions from our viewers.
All right.
Okay, the first one. Is there a way to unite the unconscious and the subconscious minds with the conscious mind so that we can be consciously aware of all three? And would there be an advantage to our physical experience that way?
As long as you are physical, you will not completely dissolve all three, but you can allow them to work more efficiently together and mirror the physical version of a higher mind. But while you are physical, all three are somewhat necessary so that you can experience timing and processing of whatever information your conscious mind truly needs at any given moment. So there will always be some slight holdback, some slight process of funneling the information that's necessary at any given moment through. But yes, you can allow, by accelerating yourself, by raising your frequency, the barriers to become less solid so that they can work together, all three divisions can work together much more efficiently, much more fluidly.
Okay. And this person says, I'm interested in why we are specifically among all the other options for who or what we could be as a unique expression. So I guess why we are who we are. How is it possible for us to have preferences if we all come from unconditional love?
Because it is unconditional by the very definition of the word, you can be whatever you choose to be. Therefore, you choose whatever theme of exploration at any given moment your consciousness believes will allow it to experience what it needs for its own growth, whatever it is interested in exploring in that sense. So you have the freedom to choose whatever you wish.
Do we have the option of choosing to come to Earth to do negative things?
You do have that option, but again, remember that when you say negative, A lot of times you will choose negative mechanisms to do positive things. For example, the idea that you are limiting your consciousness in order to have a physical experience is a positive utilization of a negative mechanism because you are imposing a limitation for various positive reasons, for experiential reasons, on your broader consciousness. So yes, in the way that you meant the question, it is possible that you may see that someone doing something that would be considered to be negative could inspire others to act positively and perhaps change things in a more positive direction by having something negative to push against.
Is there an optimal way to meditate? And is there like a best length? And is 10 minutes just as effective as 1 hour? Or?
Not necessarily. It takes about 15 minutes for the neurological pathways of your brain to rewire themselves effectively in a lasting way. So the idea of whatever form of meditation you are attracted to would be the best thing for you, the best permission slip. And we would say optimally, allow yourself at least 15 minutes. You can go for longer. You can go for an hour. Again, it depends upon how you decide to adjust it that works best for you. But at the very minimum, 15 minutes is usually required for most physical individuals to allow for the appropriate amount of rewiring of the brain to be effective in terms of making the changes that you typically seek to make.
Okay, thank you. Following up from the guilt and responsibility transmission, is guilt always an indication that there is an energy alignment necessary, or can that mechanism get out of whack a bit? Is it possible for us to have a habit of unnecessarily being guilty when we feel guilty about things that we don't even need to really be adjusted about? And if so, how can we know the difference and clean up the confusion and the energy alignment mechanism can work as intended?
The sensation you call guilt, that you recognize as guilt, is always an indication that there is a misalignment within you or a negative belief at work. Otherwise, it's just awareness and recognition of something. It doesn't necessarily have an experience of guilt attached to it if you're just aware of something from a neutral position. The idea of being guilty when you know you have no need to be guilty in that sense is one of the results of actually giving in to the negative definition, the negative belief system, because again, it keeps attempting to perpetuate itself and thus continues to perpetuate the guilty feeling even when you intellectually know there's no reason for you to experience guilt. So that is simply a residual side effect of, or an echo, if you will, of having given in to the idea of the negative and fear-based belief that creates the initial guilt feeling to begin with. The idea, again, is to recognize that it comes from a fear-based belief, to explore and investigate yourself with honesty about what that belief could be, and truly get to the core understanding of what the fear-based belief is telling you as a story, to allow yourself to really see the details in that story and recognize that they are generally nonsensical when you get to the heart of the matter. That is how you can dissolve any reason to keep perpetuating the idea of guilt and allow yourself to let that go.
So as an example, survivor guilt, is there a way to transmute that? Or is that happening at such a deep level? And it seems a little different than normal guilt.
It is not. It is not different because it still is the result of harboring a negative belief that you could have done something, and in some senses it robs other individuals who may have passed on of their choices. So to be guilty about the fact that you are still alive while someone else may have died is, again, nonsensical because you are not allowing yourself or allowing them to have made their choices from a higher level. You're not trusting the timing of what's going on. Now, this doesn't mean that the idea of what causes the death cannot be mitigated. cannot be changed in the future for other people. But the idea of whatever it is that does happen, even if it results in someone else's death, must simply be recognized as the result of belief systems or themes or choices that they have made, even unconsciously. And to be guilty about being someone who remains alive, in some sense, dishonors the choices that they made, instead of utilizing those to make differences in your own life and in your own understanding about your connection to those who have passed on into spirit. So survivor guilt, again, is simply a residual recognition of the fact that you've been holding on to fear-based beliefs and negative beliefs about your own worthiness to be alive, about the choices you are making. And it can be used in a positive way to correct anything that might have been a misunderstanding, a misinterpretation, or a miscalculation in your own life. But the idea of holding on to the guilt does not allow you to move forward, nor does it allow you to develop a recognizable relationship with those who have passed on in a way that can serve you and in a way that honors them for their choices.
You talk sometimes about how there are consequences to our choices and actions.
Yeah.
How can we hear the word consequences so that we don't perceive it in a negative or punitive way? Sometimes I fear consequences catching up with me from past mistakes, even though I've already healed, learned from them, and brought myself back into alignment. How can I release that fear and work with this teaching in a more positive way?
There's an oxymoron in the question you have asked, because if you have actually healed yourself and brought yourself back into alignment, there would not be the definition of consequences in a punitive manner. So when you say that you are still experiencing a punitive definition of a simple neutral consequence of an action taken, then you're not in alignment. You have not brought yourself back into alignment. There is still a fear-based belief at the heart of your experience. But look at it this way. A consequence is simply the neutral result of an action taken. Let us say, for example, you simply drop a ceramic cup. The consequence of dropping it may be that it actually shatters on the floor. Is the shattering on the floor a punishment? No. It is just the neutral consequences of having dropped the cup in a gravitational field. The fact that you would say, oh, I am being punished now because the cup shattered, is simply the result of a nonsensical negative belief system. So by recognizing the nonsense in the idea of defining something that is simply the neutral result of an action taken, but keeping upon it the idea of self-judgment, then you can more easily separate the concept of punitive definitions from a neutral consequence.
Can you tell us the best way to follow the higher mind? How can we trust and understand its messages? And is it possible to follow the messages of the higher mind without first working with the shadows of the subconscious mind?
Again, this is a slight misunderstanding of the formula that we have shared with all of you. Following your passion is what allows you to determine what to let go of so that you can more readily follow the higher mind's guidance, which comes to you through passion. Remember, the toolkit that is contained when you act on your passion contains the reflective mirror that brings to your attention the idea of any belief within you that is out of alignment with your true vibration. So by acting on your passion and allowing the ideas to come up that may be out of alignment and working with it to let it go, you actually give yourself more ability to have more discernment and deal with these ideas of negative belief systems more easily in the future. So it is the very act of following your passion that brings these things to your attention, because bringing these things to your attention is part of your passion.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Does listening to subliminal messages or a recording of affirmations while you sleep in order to tap into your subconscious mind have any benefit to us in creating the experiences we prefer? Can it expedite us raising our vibration to match the experiences we prefer to have as having good health or abundance or money? Or is it just another permission slip that will work for some and not for others? Does the subconscious mind need a permission slip?
Yes, it is a permission slip because everything in physical reality is a permission slip. Will it work for some and not for others? Yes. Is it effective for some? Yes, because it is a permission slip that they've gravitated to, been attracted to, and it is the attraction that usually indicates it will work for the person who is attracted to use that particular permission slip. So in that sense, it is a simple answer of knowing that it is something you are attracted to that at least will temporarily work for you while you are attracted to it, and can be effective for those that align with it in terms of their belief system. But it's up to you to recognize also that it may change for you. So go with the flow. Whatever it is you're attracted to as a permission slip, by all means use it for the length of time you are attracted to it. When you're no longer attracted to use it, you'll find that something else will work for you. That's part of your evolutionary growth.
Can you mention some of the ways that our higher mind communicates with us?
It communicates primarily through, again, the sensation of objects or situations and circumstances that contain more excitement and passion or attractiveness or curiosity than any other. And it amplifies these things and delivers them quite often through the auspices of the fact that everything is connected, meaning synchronicity.
Right, so synchronistic symbols would also be communications from the higher mind?
Yes.
Belief, does that mean that we should ask ourselves why we have it and try to eliminate that belief by waiting for an answer that doesn't make any sense to us? Or is there other...
Well, you're not waiting. It's an active process of self-investigation to allow yourself to render the belief nonsensical. It doesn't just happen on its own, because if you don't do anything about it, if you don't investigate it, if you don't look deeply within yourself with honesty and curiosity and a willingness to change, then the negative belief will simply keep perpetuating itself. So it's not about waiting for it to make no sense. It's about actively seeking ways and understanding ways in which it simply no longer makes sense to you. One way is to look around in your reality, on your planet, and see if there's someone doing something similar in their passion as to what you would find also passionate about, exciting about doing, and recognize what it is that's different between you that allows them to do it, but not you. It is in that difference you will find the difference in your definitions, and then perhaps it will stand out more clearly why the definition for you is nonsensical, because if they can do it, why can't you?
So are the beliefs in the unconscious mind or the subconscious mind, these negative beliefs?
They're in the conscious mind, sometimes in the subconscious mind or unconscious mind, but they actually originate within the conscious mind, because the idea of those negative beliefs is not natural to your greater being. It's things that are learned and ingrained within you in the conscious world, in the conscious reality. Again, either by your circumstances and situations, your parents, your friends, your schooling, your society. These are all introduced into the conscious mind. Aspects of these then beliefs, negative beliefs, filter into your subconscious and unconscious mind when you are given perhaps contradictory information that you don't know how to process, don't know how to handle. So you store them in the subconscious and unconscious mind to be released later when you might gain enough information and knowledge and experience to be able to understand them at that point, bring them back into the conscious mind to determine for yourself at that point what it is that's nonsensical and irrelevant for you and what it is you determine you will keep believing in. So again, the subconscious and unconscious mind are used as different types of reservoirs to hold on to things you can't immediately process. But all of these negative beliefs are, in a sense, received by the conscious mind. Now, the only exception to this, and it's not really an exception, but just an augmentation, would be that if you have decided as a spirit to come into the reality with a certain theme you will explore, then you might allow the conscious mind to be shall we say, more open to receiving some of these negative and fear-based beliefs that you will then use in your process to overcome and, shall we say, transform so that you can fulfill the theme that you chose to explore. But the fear-based beliefs are still received by the conscious mind, even though you make, shall we say, set up a likelihood of accepting them from a higher level to begin with as a representation of a theme that you will choose to explore.
Can you comment on the idea of compartmentalization and how that can shield one from the consequences of negative beliefs?
Compartmentalization, because you operate in a physical reality that has time and space and can have time lags and so on and so forth, can be used as a certain vibrational pattern to, in a sense, act as a filtering system so that you can achieve certain things on one level while holding off on certain kinds of consequences on another level. In other words, you're storing everything for later dissemination, for later analyzation, for later observation. And this is why when you pass into spirit, you cannot avoid the idea of life review, where you experience the consequences of every action that you took. Because now in that state of being, non-physically, you have dissolved all of the barriers. There is no more conscious, subconscious, and unconscious. It's all right there in one awareness. And thus, at that point, if not at any point earlier, you will experience every single idea, every single consequence, every single action, every single emotion, everything you may have put into the reservoir for later analysis will come flooding in during the life review if you do not deal with them in the physical reality at some point.
Can you say a little more about how you actually experience life review? I think one questioner was concerned about going through it, that it seems fearful or like
you
a
will
terrible
not experience it in a fearful way. You will understand through a form of spiritual empathy what it is that any other person that may have been affected by a choice you made would have felt, would have experienced. But I know this sounds like a little bit of a contradiction or an oxymoron, but you experience all these things from a neutral position. You experience them fully as if it's happening to you, but since there is absolutely no judgment on it from the spiritual perspective, you are not experiencing any of the things you would heap upon yourself in physical reality, such as judgment for having done it. And therefore, while you can experience it in its fullest form, you do not actually experience the judgment that would amplify it in a negative way. Therefore, there is nothing to fear. It is simply absorbed as information and knowledge and experience and used in a positive way to determine what you will do next and how you will grow from those things, how you will learn from those things. I know this may not be absolutely clear to you, since most of you are absolutely not used to experiencing any lack of judgment at all on the things you do, on the negative ideas, on the negative fear-based beliefs. But by eliminating the idea of self-judgment, you simply can experience a full emotional experience of what someone else may have experienced in physical reality, but without the judgment, it is not experienced in any way, shape, or form that is fear-inducing.
So back to the idea of compartmentalization, an individual that's capable of compartmentalizing and then doing harm to thousands of people through negative acts and worldwide consequences for their behavior.
Yes.
When they go on this planet, you can experience those kinds of things, and yet when you go through life review, the idea of the karma or the punishment,
It's not karma.
None of that is going to happen, right?
You will experience the consequence of everything you did, and you will experience it from the points of view of every single person that was engaged or involved or affected in some way, shape, or form. You will experience it all as if it's happening to you, each and every individual, and not even immediately, but even those that have repercussions and ripples that extend sometimes for days, months, weeks, years, and centuries. you'll experience every single consequence and ripple effect that came as a result of the choices that you made. So it's not that you escape it, but you don't experience it as a punishment. You experience it as an experience.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. And regarding working with the subconscious, hypnosis has been a method used to explore it and assist medically. Is it beneficial, and can we improve our method and use, and how?
Again, like previous questions, it can be beneficial for those individuals that are attracted to use that particular permission slip. It can be very effective for many of you because it does help the majority of people in the collective idea of the themes you are exploring to unlock from any particular reality concept that you may be holding on to and truly be capable of letting it go. So it can be an effective permission slip because it taps into the collective unconscious of your reality and the themes that the collective may have agreed to explore, and lets you, in many cases, be relatively fluid with them or free of them. So yes, but it's still nonetheless a permission slip. And again, it can be more effective the more you understand how it can be a skeleton key of sorts to unlock every different kind of lock that may be experienced in your life. But again, it's up to the individual to decide whether or not that's something that they will gravitate to, that they are attracted to. Remember that you're hypnotizing yourself all the time anyway to believe certain things that aren't necessarily real, at least temporarily so. So all of you, in that sense, in order to have a physical reality, are under the influence of different types of hypnosis.
Okay, and is the subconscious mind like a doorway to the higher consciousness? Is the subconscious part of the mind or the higher self?
It's part of the mind, but it is the part, again, that acts as a go-between between the physical conscious mind and the unconscious mind to determine exactly what portions of information that reside in the unconscious mind and the higher self the physical mind is ready to process. So it acts as a kind of a gatekeeper, the subconscious mind, to let through whatever the conscious mind feels it is ready to deal with in terms of facing different belief systems and processing them and letting the negative ones go. So, of course, everything is a reflection of what the higher mind chose to experience, but it is a specific part that acts as a gatekeeper for what the conscious mind is ready to deal with. When certain social political events happened in your reality.
Okay, so 2019, I don't want to say expect.
No, but it's highly likely. It's just that some of the programs that would have allowed you to make that discovery were delayed for a variety of reasons on your planet. Again, socially, politically, economically, so on and so forth. So because you made those changes, it changed the window a little bit, but it's only extended as far as 2019 or so.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you, Bashar. That's all I have. Shavai.
Shavai.
Good afternoon.
And to you, good day.
Hi. I'm trying to figure a little bit of this stuff out. I have trying to, accept and receive.
Accept what?
Well, I'm trying to open my pathway so I can accept the information that's coming toward me.
All right, well, you remember the formula, yes?
Yeah, and I'm still trying to knock down the wall that is in my brain or my deep, deep soul part, and I'm trying to figure out.
What are you defining as this wall?
Unfortunately, but true, it's kind of like a religious belief from when I was a kid.
And what is the religious belief?
I don't know. The only thing I can figure out is the no gods before me kind of ordeal.
All right. That is a translation and a misinterpretation of the original communication. Would you like the original communication?
Sure.
All right, thank you. I am all there is. Anything else you may consider to be a different God is still a part of me, so it's not possible to have a false God before me, because everything is me. So it's not about the idea in the way it's been expressed. It's an idea and a reminder that you can't actually be recognizing or communicating with a false God unless you're saying that that is the only way it can express itself. That is a falsehood. Okay. Because all that is expresses itself in all things. It is all things. All things are it. So anything that you choose to function or see as a reflection of God or all that is in fact a reflection of the same one God. It's not possible to actually have a false God in that sense, because everything is God.
I got you.
But it's when people on your planet misinterpret these things and think that the way they view God is the only correct way, then in a sense, that's the closest you can come to having a false God. It's the insistence that that's the only expression that makes it, in a sense, false, even though it is actually an expression of God. Does that help clarify the idea a bit?
Yes, sir. I'm just trying to, well,
Yes?
I'm wanting to make sure that, what do you call that? That I receive the messages that I need to receive. And right now I have like,
Yes.
always buzzing in my ears, and I've been told that that's like the aliens are talking to me. And
They may be.
And I'm trying to figure out what they're saying, and that's the thing.
Well, again, this is why we say keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
You don't have to be confused. Go back to the formula. It will always allow, through synchronicity, everything you need to know to come to you when you need it, and everything will be organized and straightened out in time. Don't get overcomplicated by overthinking it. That's the confusing thing. Just go with the flow. Act on your passion to the best you can with no insistence on what the outcome should be, because you don't really know what's best.
Yeah.
Just deal with whatever happens in the best possible way. And again, remember, it's not about what happens, it's about what you do with what happens that matters.
Yes, sir.
So if you just keep to these simple principles, everything will straighten itself out in time.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're
very
welcome.
much. Appreciate it.
Yes. Remember, even though creation is richly complex, it is fundamentally simple. Keep it simple. One thing at a time. Remember that you are all infinite, eternal beings. What's your hurry? What's your rush?
Hello, Bashar.
And you, good day.
I'd like to ask you if you can sing a song for us.
Not at this time.
I just wanted to, if you can, transmit you us, but if you're gonna...
Speak up, speak up.
I'm sorry.
Please speak up so that all can hear you.
Yeah.
Is there something else you wanted to share?
I'm so nervous.
We will sing something for you another time. It is simply not the time now.
All right.
So what else would you like to discuss? Anything?
No.
No? Yes?
Yes.
What? Do you have a question? Do you have a comment? What would you like to say? What do you wish to know?
Did you have something to share with me?
I am sharing everything that is important for me to share. I am sharing everything that is important for us to share. I am not holding anything back from you.
Without my question, if you feel you have to say something relevant for my person right now.
I have given you everything you need personally in this conversation.
Okay.
Why do you think that it needs to be something different? How about that question? That's just for you.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think there needs to be something extra? Why do you think you don't have what you need?
I don't think I don't have what I need. So.
Then why are you asking for something extra? If you know you have everything you need, why would there be anything else?
It's truth. Yeah.
Speak up.
It's truth. I don't need anything else.
But you asked for something else. You asked for something just for you. Yes?
Uh-huh.
Well, what I'm telling you right now is just for you.
Okay.
You don't need to ask for anything extra. You have everything you need to move forward in your life in the most powerful, joyful, creative, passionate way. You just need to act more on those passions. Yes?
Yes.
That's for you.
Yeah.
So in telling you you need nothing else, I have given you, paradoxically, something that's just for you. Will that do?
Yeah.
Is that a question? Are you acting as often as you could on your highest passion? Hesitation means no. So, why aren't you acting more on your passion in life? What are you afraid will happen if you do? Are you ready to have this conversation?
Not really.
Are you ready to have this conversation?
No.
You need to speak up.
Mm,
It's all right if you're not.
no.
You're not ready.
No.
All right. Well, we thank you for the interaction you were willing to share. We'll make you a deal. Even though we said we will sing at another time, we will sing to you in your dreams. Did a bunch of cats suddenly come into the room? Nania?
Yes, hello. Well, there were many, many questions, and maybe we will put some of these, we're saving these, so we'll put them aside so that we really can delve into some other areas with you.
All right.
But for tonight, what is the mechanical difference between imagination and memory?
The mechanical difference is that imagination is a conduit to the higher mind, a conduit of communication, through which different kinds of probabilities can be downloaded, and you can, through the idea of your own vibration, your own attraction, your own passion, decide which are relevant for you at that moment, but it expands the probabilities, it expands the choices, and acts as literally the conduit of communication from the higher mind to let you know what might be relevant, what might be possible and probable for you in life to be more of yourself. Memory is created in the moment as a representation of something that you believe happened in the past, but is simply another way of creating in the present moment a connectional link to another simultaneous existence that you desire to draw information or experience from, and that link of energy can pass through the conduit of imagination that links you, that bridges you to your higher mind, so that the higher mind can help guide you in how to use those so-called memory links in the most positive and beneficial way. So they can work together that way. Does that make sense?
Yes, so if the higher mind, one of the ways to connect with it is through your imagination.
Yes.
Okay, and that's always considered a really positive thing. It takes you to a higher vibrational level.
Yes.
But then the idea of memory, like memory is created based on the vibrational state that you're choosing at any given moment.
Yes.
And you're creating a memory. So that memory can assist or it can hinder, or I guess it can be neutral.
It depends on what belief systems it's passing through or filtering through in the physical mind. But nevertheless, the imagination, the communication from the higher mind, can allow you to use whatever memory connections you're making in the present in the most positive way if you use your imagination with those memories. How you can learn something from them, how you can grow from them, how you can advance from there, how you can build upon it in your imagination from something you believe you have learned from, something you are relating to as something in your storehouse, something in your treasure chest, some experience you already have had, so to speak, even though you're creating it in the moment.
Yeah, it's really interesting to hear about the tools that are available to us to really enhance our memory and our imagination in a positive way.
Yes. Again, the idea of memory is created in the present, and it's sort of analogous to the idea of, say, taking a photograph on your planet. All right, you say, well, I took this photograph of something that happened a long time ago. But aren't you still looking at the photograph? Isn't it still in your present? It's being created in your present over and over and over again through the illusion of continuity. So the photograph isn't really a photo, quote unquote, from the past. It may be a photo of what you call the past, but it actually exists in the present with you. It's not from the past.
Yeah, it always seems like the imagination is like the telephone line directly to the higher level.
Yes.
And how you work with the memory and the imagery that you create based on the memory.
Yes, and they can work together as a guiding principle in the sense that even though the imagination may provide you with many different scenarios, some of which may not necessarily be immediately relevant for you, connecting to the idea of memory, digging out of your treasure chest what you know has already been relevant for you, can help color the imagination and bring it into focus in a way so that you know what parts of what you're being given from the higher mind through imagination are relevant for you, because you can see how to build on what was to build onto something as to where to go. So you can use it that way as a guiding principle. Yes?
Yeah, it's very interesting to be able to see the differentiation too, you know?
Yes.
There's some hybrid questions here. The Shakani are quasi-physical. What about other races?
There are other races that are quasi-physical.
But the Yael, they would be physical, yes?
They are more physical, yes.
So the versions of us that'll be interacting with them will be
the versions of humans interacting with the Yael?
Yeah, will be more...
Well, more physical,
refined,
but fourth density physical.
Refined physical.
Yes, refined physical, if you wish. Elevated physical.
I'm working with these tablets, so I kind of have to... Okay, will the...
Tablets?
Yes, I've got the tablets.
Is that the kind that you need to take 2 of and call us in the morning?
I thought I kind of got them from the mountain or something.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Mrs. Moses.
Oh, I only got a single tablet, though, so, you know.
Oh, lost half of it, did you?
I have to make do with one.
All right.
So will the 6th hybrid race be created in a petri dish or by the biological way or both?
The hybrid children that will be coming to live on your world have already, in a sense, been manipulated through the idea of science and genetic experimentation. Therefore, in terms of becoming the 6th hybrid race, it's not so much now the idea of a scientific procedure as it is a more natural biological blending.
Okay.
Did that answer the question?
Yes, actually did.
Yes.
What makes each of the 5 races unique to deal with?
Well, that's a long story. But you are dealing with the Sasani through us. The idea, again, of the Yael will be something you can relate to a little bit more, a little bit earlier, a little bit more easily. The Maz-eh, you don't relate to very well. Yes? So let's just use that spectrum as a simplistic illustration. It's either less or more relatable to humanity. We're somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. Fascinating. We can see Sirius with the naked eye. Eshakani, however, is in slightly a different dimension.
Yes.
So we can't see its star.
Correct.
Why is that so, considering you once explained that Sirius beings were their mentors?
Yes, but remember that as we enter your dimension, we have to become part of the consensus agreement on a much larger scale. And Sirius provides a certain function of balance and guidance in your reality. Therefore, we had to become part of the consensus agreement to work with Earth. There will be more to this coming out in another transmission, But the idea is, in general, that, and being trained as a first contact specialist, since I chose to interact with Earth, I have to go by what the basic parameters are for doing so, and some of that includes needing to work with the Sirius energy that is part of your general dimensional reality in order to do so.
Okay. Are fairies and mermaid considered extraterrestrial beings?
No. Fairies are another way of describing the idea of the elementals that are projections or expressions in physicalized form of the consensus reality that creates different kinds of individual symbols or beings that are connected to nature, the actual consciousness of the planet itself. The idea of mermaids is more the idea of transformation and genetic alteration that occurred in the past, primarily in Atlantean times, that created certain kinds of beings, some of which survived to some degree into something close to your present history, but don't really exist exactly in the same way. Now, don't get this confused with the fact that certain elementals can present themselves in mermaid form, but that doesn't mean that they're the original genetic mermaids that were created in Atlantean times. Yes?
It's wild. I love that the energy of the archetype,
yes,
is available to everyone.
Of course it is.
Lovely.
It's your consensus reality. They're your archetypes. They're your larger reflections of the greater themes that your people are exploring by choosing to incarnate in an earth vibration.
Okay, so this is kind of a little sad.
Oh, if you say
It's
so.
a little sad question.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Little sad. Hello, little sad.
Is it possible to have a life theme that creates the experience where you are not able to follow your highest excitement? And what is the true purpose of that theme?
Yes, absolutely, it's possible to have a theme where you simply create every single available inability to act on your highest passion. That's exceedingly rare from our experience and our perception of your collective reality, but it can be done and has been done on rare occasions. The basic premise for choosing something like that is an extremely amplified version of the idea of attracting something into your life that is what you don't prefer, to make it that much clearer and that much more crystallized as to what you do prefer. The idea of lives that choose to experience an inability to follow their passion are usually relatively short-lived. There are examples of longer ones, but that's again even more rare. Those that find themselves unable to follow their passion in any way, shape, or form will usually die early. That doesn't mean that's the only reason why people die early, but that's usually the result on most occasions. So they will simply have stuck their toe temporarily into reality to experience the greatest form of limitation that they can, and then they will extract themselves relatively quickly so they can move on, having learned the lesson of what it's like to experience very deep, deep negative limitation. Again, this is another variation of a spirit experiencing the rubber band analogy. The farther back you pull the rubber band, when you finally let it go, it will snap that much farther, that much faster onto the other side. So the farther into, the deeper into darkness and limitations someone might explore, when
All right, let's say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? All right. Thank you. I have a question for all of you. Do you have a soul? Yes. No. What does he mean by that? Of course we have souls. No. You don't have a soul. You are a soul. So, this perspective can change a lot of things in the way that you experience physical reality, because you're creating it. It's a projection of your consciousness. And here, fundamentally, is how you do this. Now imagine, if you will, that you are a soul, an orb of light. So picture this in your mind. You are this sphere, this orb of light. And within it, there are ripples of energy, patterns of energy. Just like dropping a pebble into the pond creates ripples. Imagine ripples in every direction inside this orb of energy, this orb of light. When a soul decides to have a physical experience, this is what happens. These ripples that all are happening inside this sphere of light, this sphere of energy, this sphere of consciousness, all these ripples represent different aspects, different qualities, different attributes of the soul. So when a soul decides to experience a theme in physical terms, some of those ripples, some of those attributes are focused on, and they condense down and down and down in a focus to the center of the orb of light. Now, that doesn't mean the orb disappears. It is still there. Only some of the aspects of it have condensed down into this tiny small bit at the center. You might call it a seed, a hard kernel, like a subatomic particle. And that small crystallized seed at the center of that orb of light is your physical mind. That is how the soul creates its experience of physical reality. It creates a focus, it creates a dream experience within the center of its being, taking some of the qualities, some of the attributes, some of the aspects of its total self, crystallizing them, focusing down into that little center seed, that little center crystal. And that center crystal contains those attributes that represent the theme that that being will explore as a physical being in that physical dream at the center of the soul. So when that life is over, the soul doesn't leave the body. The crystal seed starts to expand again, starts to open up again, starts to soften, and starts to merge back with and into itself as the soul. So that is what death is simply the awakening from the dream state, from the little crystallized seed at the center of the soul. And the idea of the expansion of consciousness overall is what begins that process of opening up. It doesn't mean that just expanding your consciousness means you have to die physically. But the idea is that you open up and you are a little bit like a small open sphere inside the bigger sphere. Not so concentrated, not so crystallized, not so hard, not so focused, so that you have the ability to tap into the vibration of the soul more readily, more easily. And this becomes the relationship between your physical mind and your higher mind, which is the soul, which is that portion of you that is still the sphere of light, the sphere of consciousness, the sphere of energy. That is the higher mind according to the physical kernel at the center, the physical seed. So by allowing yourself to expand a little bit, it's easier for you to, by raising your vibration, expanding that seed in the center, tap into the communication, the ripples, the information that is always coming to you from the rest of your being, the rest of you as a soul, as a sphere of consciousness, a sphere of light. By opening up a little bit, you then contain the ability within that seed, within the center of that seed, to harbor some of the vibrational frequencies of information that come to you, the messages that come to you from your soul, from the higher mind. So the idea then is that comes in an energy language, as we have said. And that energy language, that energy message from your soul self to the little seed that is more expanded, is translated by that little seed in the center, that little physical mind being in the center, as the sensation called passion, curiosity, love, creativity. And that is when you receive the message from the soul self that whatever contains that passion, whatever contains that excitement, that curiosity, that attraction, that is who you really are. That is your core frequency. That is your core theme. That is your core creativity. It is the next step on your path, and that's why it's so important to act on that passion. Because action, as the little seed, is the language of the physical reality dream. Not words, not thoughts, but actions, physical actions. Let the soul know that there is an echo from the crystal. There is a reaction, a response from the crystal that it heard the message from the soul self and is willing to act on it, willing to be guided by it, willing in that sense to move forward in that way, which then allows the soul to respond to that echo, and then you create that back and forth dialogue between the soul sphere and the crystal seed that is you as a physical mind, as a physical being. Does this make sense? Yes. So again, focusing on yourself as a physical being, saying, I, as a physical human, have a soul, is very different than understanding that you are a soul that is simply having a human experience, that is having a human dream, a physical reality dream. So the idea is to allow yourself to really start opening up and remembering that you never leave spirit. Spirit is your natural state. You haven't left it. Most of you is there right now. All of you is there right now. But you have this little crystalline seed portion of your greater self that is pretending, that is dreaming that it's no longer in spirit. That is what physical reality is. And when you start looking at it from that direction, you start really tapping into your innate self-empowerment, your true nature, your true core essential vibration. And many more things can happen that are more representative of alignment between your physical mind and your higher mind, so that you can really understand you are not a human being physically that has a soul. You do not have a body, and inside the body is your soul. You are a soul, and inside your soul is your body. That's the difference. So, you are a soul, you don't have a soul, you are the soul. We thank you for allowing us to share this perspective with you this day of your time. In return for the gift that you are giving us in allowing us to serve you in this way and share this knowledge, we ask, how may we continue to be of service to you? You may begin with your dialogues and questions.
Aveo Bashar.
Aveo.
I'm a conscious channel. I would like to become a, what is it called? When it's complete in the body?
No. Being a conscious channel is the evolutionary direction.
Okay.
It went from people being unconscious to being more conscious because you're becoming equal and your version of that which you are channeling. You have to understand that the channel before you is not unconscious, he's just conscious in a different way. But a long time ago, channels used to be unconscious because they couldn't understand how they were equal to what they were bringing through. So becoming more conscious is the idea, is the evolutionary path.
What I meant is that I'd like to become a trans, what's it called? Trans channel.
But that's a step backwards.
It is?
Yes, that's what I'm attempting to tell you. Becoming more conscious of what you're bringing through is the evolutionary path forward. Becoming equal to it so that you can just say, oh, I'm getting this now and I'm telling you what I'm getting.
Okay.
Instead of having to get out of the way so much. Because you're becoming more equal to receiving that information, more equal to that vibration. Therefore, you don't have to get out of the way. Now, if you really prefer to get out of the way a little bit, that's fine, but you have to understand what you are experiencing right now with the channel before you is not technically trance channeling. The channel is not in a trance. The channel is in an altered state called gamma. In the brain, it's between 40 and 100 cycles per second. It's a state of higher frequency connection and processing. It's not technically a trance. It's a state of higher association. So you can do many things to get into gamma, and this is, again, why we encourage all of you to act on your passion. Because when you are doing what you love to do, when you are, as you say in your language, in the zone, you go into gamma. You go into the channeling state naturally when you're doing what you love to do and no longer paying attention to the passage of time. You look up and you think, oh, it's been 3 hours. It only felt like 15 minutes to me. That meant you were in a channeling state. And by the way, when it only feels like 15 minutes has passed, you've only aged 15 minutes.
So when I am doing this channeling, it's always very positive experience with positive beings. But when I'm sleeping, I seem to go to very negative planets filled with manipulation.
Well,
and then I had one.
You're working things out. Would you rather work them out in physical reality?
No. I think I'm doing that too, actually.
All right. Well, then, thank you
for
for working them out in the dream state.
I didn't get my question yet.
Go ahead.
My question is, I had one of these negative experiences that felt negative was I was sleeping in the back of my truck and this energy started vibrating my entire truck and I couldn't sit up, I couldn't get up, and it felt really scary to me.
Sounds exciting.
Was that an ET coming to see me, or
Yes,
what was it?
but that's not uncommon for one dimension interacting with another dimension to cause those kinds of frequency vibrations to happen. There's nothing to be afraid of.
Okay.
It's just a natural result of two dimensions intersecting.
Okay, that's what I was hoping for.
All right,
you.
well then it's not negative. Don't define it that way.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
You are welcome. Pleasant dreams.
Hi, Bashar.
Hi to you. Good day.
I wanted to say thank you to you for your teachings, and also thank you to everybody that's working really hard to hold space for you and your teachings for all of us.
All right.
I wanted to know, when I was a teenager, I saw a spaceship. It's a funny story I tell everybody. Was that real? And
What did it look like?
It was diamond shaped with 4 blue lights.
Yes.
And am I still working with them? Like,
For your entire life, yes.
I know. Can you give me anything like, can you give me something, like a little nugget? Like, who are they? Should I just let it go, or?
You are again part of the hybridization program. There may be other beings on those ships from time to time, but mostly you're interacting with hybrids.
Okay.
The idea again, I apologize,
I do too.
follow the formula. Because again, it will reveal what you need to know in perfect timing. Don't worry about who that was. You will find out if you need to find out. Right now, it's just about moving forward with the idea of the energy that encounter represented to you.
Okay.
Putting you in the state that represents a higher frequency.
Okay.
Because anytime you think about that encounter, how do you feel?
Awesome.
There you go. Stay awesome.
Thank you.
Stay in the encounter frequency.
Okay.
And come from that frequency in everything that you do in life.
Thank
Yes?
you. Yes, I love you so much. Thank you.
Oh, I love you so much too.
Hi, Bashar.
Good day.
It's an honor to be here with you.
It is an honor for us as well.
I'll make my question quick because I know. So my question is, I had an interaction with my guides telepathically like 8 years ago, multiple times in a couple months.
Yes.
And then almost 3 years to the day today, they kind of ambushed me at my apartment and they terrified me. And they were there for like 6 hours and cats, and then it took me like 2 weeks to get over the fear.
Yes.
And
Why were you afraid?
Well, I had a panther show up at my apartment window.
You had a what?
Like a panther, or the image of a panther and a house cat
But
and a
don't
lion.
you understand that as a reflection of your own inner power?
Well, I didn't.
Do you now?
More so, yes.
Oh, how do you feel about it now?
Well, now I'm thrilled. The fear's gone, but where'd they go? Now that I'm brave enough to have a conversation.
Would it scare you to know that they're still right here?
Not at all.
All right.
I'm past the fear.
So accept your self-empowerment, accept your own power, and understand that the symbol of the cat is something that can see into other dimensions.
Oh, fantastic. I don't have a crush on you, but I do love you. Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Good day. First and foremost, I'd like to thank my love Natalia up there for encouraging me to raise my hand. I did not expect this. This is really awesome. So my first question, or my question would be the difference between free will and is your path laid out before you're here?
Yes, the free will of your spirit, in a sense, arranges certain things. You could call that destiny, but it's just about being you. You are the destiny. In other words, everything that you experience, even with your free will, you're going to experience as this person, this personality, this idea, this path, this unique perspective. So it's a combination of the idea of free will of the spirit, then the free will of the physical being has to go down that hallway because you can't be anything other than what you are, who you are, and so that can feel like a destiny, but you don't think of it that way. You just think of it as, this is who I am. This is me. And so you have free will to be you in whatever way, shape, or form you so desire. You can think of it like a hallway. The hallway is you. You can go down that hallway happy, sad, backwards, forwards, crawling, walking, running, flying, jumping, leaping, look in every door along the way, ignore them all. But you will walk down that hallway because that hallway is you. And you can't do anything but be you. So that's the destiny, is the creation from that sphere of energy we talked about initially, crystallizing down into that seed, that crystalline seed, filled with those particular attributes from the greater sphere that represent the theme that you're exploring, which is usually presented by whatever challenges you face in this life, on this path. So it's a combination of what feels like destiny and free will, but it's still about the free will of the spirit deciding that this is what it wants to experience as a theme. But as the theme, as the experiencer, you have the free will to experience that however you wish. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
You are welcome.
And then one more thing. Based off of a dream I had, or encounter with these beings, they're humanoid, shape-shifting, piercing green eyes. Does that sound familiar to you?
Can't help you there.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Good day. I'm here with my mother and...
Hi, Mom.
Oh, she has a crush on you too!
I am starting to feel flatter and flatter.
Please don't. So, I have always felt in my heart that I have a big mission to help humanity, to help...
How are you doing that?
Okay, so I'm a trauma-informed breathwork facilitator, and I do mindset coaching.
All right.
But
is that representative of your passion, yes or no?
Yes.
Then why is there a but?
Because I feel like I'm not seeing any results in my physical reality, really.
What kind of results are you expecting to see?
Monetary compensation?
Ah, that old thing.
Yeah.
Are you allowing yourself to act on your passion for its own sake instead of what you think your passion will get you?
Yes, because I find I am in my most joy when I am of service, when I am teaching and
when
sharing.
you are doing that, does the flow bring you what you need to continue? Or are you closing the doors through which other forms of abundance could come other than or in addition to money, which we understand is one of the symbols you have of exchange and abundance on your planet, but it's not the only one. And if you focus on that being the only thing that will allow you to move forward, then you are not allowing the other forms of abundance to come to you as easily as they could to join that symbol. Because sometimes it might require a little bit of money. Sometimes someone might give you a gift. Sometimes you might have something to trade. Sometimes synchronicity will bring you something. Sometimes your imagination will think of something to do in a different way that would make it unnecessary for you to need as much money or something else that you thought you needed. Communication is a form of abundance, and you could say something that will change everything and turn it around to make it easy for you to move forward on your passion.
So you have to allow all the forms of abundance to be equal to one another and work together to give you the 100% abundance that you need to continue to move forward on your passion. So are you doing that or not?
I feel like I am.
Then there's no but.
Okay.
Because why are you focused on the idea of money? I'm just repeating what you said to us.
Right. Because I feel like I need more of it because I love giving it and sharing it. I give so much of what I have. And
do you give too much?
Perhaps.
Why do you give too much?
Because I'm so empathetic and...
You are so pathetic?
Empathetic. I empathize with people who are in need.
Empathizing with people doesn't mean you sacrifice yourself. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Because if you sacrifice yourself, then you're not there to help others. Do you understand?
Yes.
Being yourself is how you help others, but you have to love yourself equally and cherish yourself equally and give yourself what you need to be the whole person that can then help others by giving them your gifts. But you don't overgive, you don't sacrifice, otherwise you whittle yourself away and then there's nothing left of you to give. And then everyone else is deprived of your gifts. There has to be a balance. There has to be a fair exchange. Yes?
Yes. How can I connect higher to my higher self?
You do remember the formula, right?
I do. It's following my joy.
That's your answer.
Yes, okay.
Understand all the points precisely, and you will have your answer.
Thank you so much. I love you.
We just have time for one more quick question.
Good evening, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I was wondering a deeper pursuit of your idea of the formula. And
a deeper pursuit?
Yes, I thought...
of something that is complete?
Yes. Would you consider an idea...
So you want it to be more complete?
Perhaps.
Or do you mean you just need a clearer explanation of some of the principles?
From your point of view, would be most valuable and cherished. My idea...
Is there something specific
Yes.
about the formula that you would like us to illuminate?
Yes, I have an idea about it. Inspired action in appreciation always, in all ways.
Yes, yes.
Yes. What are your thoughts?
Well, yes, you have to act from the idea of appreciation and gratitude for what you have. That's what prayer is. It's a present state of appreciation for what you have, what you are. It's not asking for something else. So it's a state of grace. It's a state of gratitude, a state of appreciation. So as you are in service to others by acting on your passion, you are in a state of appreciation. And then that's part of the vibration of your passion. Does that illuminate it, or is there something else you wanted to discuss? You are welcome.